Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to be sharing my Boho Makeover series marathon. During this last summer, we went down to South Phoenix where my sister lives, and we went through room by room and transformed almost their entire home, or 5 spaces to be exact. We made over each room with a complete new look and function. The first space we tackled was their large patio. Next, we transformed their guest bedroom. Then we moved into their living room, and we even worked our magic on their pantry. And finally, we finished it all off with my sister and brother-in-law's master bedroom. So in this video, I am going to be compiling all of those episodes into one super long marathon video so that you can just pop it up on your TV, tablet, or phone and watch the makeover series without having to flip onto different videos or search for the next episode. This makeover series has ended up being one of my absolute favorites ever, and it was incredible to see the transformation of each room and see how we could take a simple home and completely elevate it and customize it to my sister's family, all on a budget. We have shared several other makeover videos on this channel, as well as other full makeover series in the past, so if you haven't seen all of those, be sure to get caught up. And I'm excited to share we do have lots of new makeover videos of our new house in Arizona coming up, so be sure you're subscribed so you don't miss out on those upcoming videos. And once you're done watching, I would love to hear in the comments which of these episodes was your absolute favorite, and also which of our makeover series has been your favorite so far. I just always think it's so fun to hear what everyone else is loving. Anyway, I hope you enjoy this video and it gets you excited for all of the upcoming makeovers that will be happening this year. And without further ado, let's jump into it. Hey guys, welcome to our budget boho makeover series. This is going to be episode 1. We are starting outside. We are going to be tackling my sister's patio today. We have so much to do today, but it's all going to be so worth it. They have like the most amazing blanks laid out here. They have like a large patio off to the side of their house. They have a little covered patio that I'm actually standing under right now, and then this little extension kind of right here that leads out to that. So we are going to be adding 3 different spaces in their patio. We are going to be adding a dining area, we are going to add a fire pit area, and then also a little sitting area like just right underneath their bedroom window right there. So I cannot wait to show you guys how we are going to transform this space on a budget, make it super cozy and inviting, and just a space that you really want to come and hang out at night. So without further ado, let's go ahead and jump on into it. I wanna hear you say so abstract, yeah, it's complicated. What you say, the way you act, well, it makes me so confused. I don't know what. Alright, so I wanted to start out by giving you guys quite a few before pans just so you could really kind of get a feel for the space. Like I had mentioned in the before house tour that I shared over on our vlog channel, this is like the perfect blank slate patio because they had just had like some random furniture in here. A lot of it actually had been broken or given to them over time, and so it just wasn't really in very good working order. And as you can see, they have such a large space. Like the whole side of their house is all cemented, and so they just have such a great big area that it was really not being utilized very well. So in this space, my plan is to actually create 3 different areas. One, I'm going to have a dining area that they can sit down and enjoy meals together as a family. The second space is going to be like a lounge seating area where they can just gather around a fire pit, enjoy just kind of watching the kids play, enjoy chatting and talking with each other. And then my third area is actually going to be in front of the window next to their covered patio. And that's just going to be like a small little seating area, just kind of intimate for 2. But that way my sister and brother-in-law can just sit next to each other and enjoy watching their kids play out back. And it's just going to be really casual over there. So that is the plan. But first things first, we are going to start off by clearing every single thing off the patio because we really don't want to skip any steps and we just want to focus on getting this space completely clean, like not just cleared off, but actually clean. So of course we are going to be bringing our power washer out and getting that all sprayed off and scrubbed down. So now that we have everything completely cleared off the patio, we're going to start by spraying all of the little bits of grass and everything off. And then once we have that kind of cleared off, then we're actually going to go back over the patio and use soap and a scrub brush and totally scrub it down and just get it really nice and clean. But you can see here how completely dirty it is. It's funny because like you just get so used to that and it's not something that you do all the time. Like we probably only wash our patio maybe once a year, but whenever we do, it just feels like a whole new space. It is so amazing just how much better it feels. And one thing that I always get questions about whenever we do these patio videos or outdoor videos is where we got our pressure washer from and also the soap cannon. So I will link our exact soap cannon down below. It's super, super easy and it works really well. And we actually got our pressure washer from Costco years and years ago. I believe the brand is Subaru and we've loved it, but I couldn't find it online. I will link one that looks super similar to it down below, but I would definitely check out Costco if you're in the market for that. They don't always have it in stock, but when they do, they tend to have really good quality ones for a bit cheaper than you can find them elsewhere. So to me, this is so satisfying to watch. So if you guys have this video up in the background while you're doing something else, pause what you're doing and sit here for just a minute or so and take some time to just enjoy these super, super satisfying clips. Hopefully you find them as satisfying as I do, but I just love this part. We have been working. We have all of this power wash and scrubbed and everything. We ended up bringing some of our patio furniture over to use at their house because we were honestly kind of struggling to find something that would arrive in time and not be crazy expensive. And we've kind of talked about changing up some of the pieces at our house anyway. So since we're not on a time crunch at our house, we decided to go ahead and bring some of our furniture here, but we do need to pressure wash that. So we're gonna go ahead and pressure wash the cushions and everything from like the couch that we brought, and then that can be drying. The nice part is they do have the covered patio right here. So I think we're going to be like building the furniture out here. And then once we build it, we can start setting up and hopefully that will be like more shaded by then.
Been feeling trapped down on the floor. I don't know what for. Feels like I'm gonna lose. Silence takes a hold. I can't let it go. Chain up, no one knows. But I won't let the stormy seas throw me in open water. Let me have my peace and leave me till tomorrow. Wind into my sail, away from things I let go. Floating on the waves. We go bottoms up, we go all the way. When you're feeling down, push the pain away. We go bottoms up, we go all the way. And face that another day. We go bottoms up.
So like I had mentioned earlier, this patio set is actually the ones that we've had at our house. But as I was looking for something that would work in my sister's home, I just could not find something that went well with the style that we're going for, or that was budget friendly, or that would get here in time, because you guys know that has been such a big issue lately. And these ones ended up just working so perfect. So we're going to end up getting something a little bit different for our home, but I just couldn't pass it up when I realized how perfect these ones were going to work in this space. Now, as you can see, they did need a little cleanup just because it is pretty dusty here in Arizona. So Kyle just took the pressure washer to them. We didn't even have to use soap or anything, and it got them looking just like new. So it just goes to show you do not need to get new items all the time. You can definitely shop on Facebook Marketplace, at yard sales, at thrift stores. Something that I've even done in the past is actually swap furniture with a friend. It gives it like a whole new life just being in a new space, and it feels new to you, it feels new to them, and it just works really well. So you definitely don't always have to run to the store whenever you're trying to make over a space. And I'll kind of talk to you guys later on in the video about how you can really tie in different pieces of furniture that are really not initially meant to go together, but how to make them all seem very cohesive. Here we're just starting to bring in all of the furniture that we've been collecting these past few months. Now, like I mentioned, you don't need to get all new furniture, but if that is the route that you're planning to go, definitely shop around. For all of these items that I got, I didn't just find the first thing and then go ahead and get it. I kind of figured out what pieces I was hoping for and what function I was needing. And then from there, I started shopping all the websites. I looked up all the sales, and I just did a lot of things to make sure that we were getting a good deal. Like, for example, I knew I wanted this little sitting area over by the window, and so I knew I was wanting 2 seats and also a table, but a lot of those sets are like $400 or $500. So instead, I really shopped around. I kind of went with different options, and I ended up on these rocking chairs. They are such good quality. They're super nice and comfy, and they were $97 each. And then I'm just able to pair them with a different table, and I have a little sitting area for a fraction of the cost. Now, everything that I got, I will link down below, but definitely shop the sales. Like, a lot of these things I got on sale, so if they're not fitting in your budget, hold out a little bit, and I'm sure they'll go on sale even if it's more towards the end of the season.
You got a lot of exes, but none of them know you better. The stories you've heard could be you and I. Hey, let me explain, get to the reason why it's not us. You know there's no one else than me you trust. You know it's truth deep inside. Won't you let it go?
So right here we are working on the chairs and dining table. Originally, I was actually going to be reusing the table that they had. I think they got it from a yard sale or something for about $20, but it really ended up needing a lot of work, and the chairs for it had like rips and tears, and so we were going to have to replace the chairs anyway. And I ended up finding this one on a super good deal, and it ended up being like about the same amount of money as I would have spent just on the chairs. And this was an item that really added a lot to the space because of the wood colors and just because it was like such a drastic piece, and I just knew it was going to add such a statement to the patio. This is actually a good example of what I kind of like to do when I am doing a budget makeover. I will mostly try to use a lot of saves. So for example, I like to reuse certain items, I like to thrift certain items, and basically just find a lot of things on sale or without spending a lot of money on them. And then I do add in 1 to 2 kind of splurge items. So this table is a good example of a splurge item for me. So even though I did still find it on sale and it ended up just making sense to get it, this is an item that I wasn't originally going to use, but it is going to make such a big impact on the space that I really felt like it was worth it just to add that in as a splurge item. But the thing that I will say about that is make sure that when you do pick your 1 or 2 splurge items for a space, make sure that it is really impactful, because you definitely don't want to waste those. You want it to be something that's going to elevate the entire look of the space, or something that's going to elevate your save items, if that makes sense. Hopefully I'm making sense and I'm not just kind of talking a bunch of craziness, but that's what I typically like to do. And I feel like it does make a really big difference mixing up those really affordable, cheaper options with a few of the options that cost a little bit more. It still keeps you within your budget because you are being very mindful of what you're spending, but those few items do just kind of pull it together and make a big difference. Okay, we finally have everything built. We have the rocking chairs, we have the dining table and the dining chairs and everything. We also have the first things that we built. These are actually going to be air conditioner covers. That's not what they're intended for, but I think they're gonna work really, really well. But we actually are planning to plant some snake plants in them. Snake plants typically do really well, and I know that they work outside in a dry climate, so I think they're gonna do really, really well here. We see them all over town. We're gonna go ahead and plant the snake plants. We also have an acatioda plant that's going to kind of sit in this little sitting area right here, and then we will go ahead and start actually setting everything up. From here on, honestly, it should go pretty quickly because we've done like all the prep work. I was just bringing in some snake plants right there. We have all of the patio like pressure washed and everything, all the furniture built. We really don't have a lot to do. I mean, it looks like we have nothing done because it's literally like empty still, but we just spent all our time doing all the prep work and now we're ready to just put things together. So let's do this.
Let's just do what you want to. Please don't be polite, cause I like your attitude. Let's forget about a curfew, cause all that is stuck in my head. It's me and you. Both speed and my heart is racing, but I'm not sure I wanna pace it, cause it only does this with you. Our bodies meet, I can feel it.
If you guys have been here for a while, you guys know I will take just about any opportunity to bring in some plants and greenery. I feel like it just adds so much interest to spaces and it adds so much life into different areas. And especially because this area is a little bit harsh because you have the cinder block wall and then you have all of the concrete and then the stucco on the other side. I really wanted to soften it up with some plants. So this was the perfect opportunity to do that. I totally could have opted for a more simple option of a wood divider, just something to kind of block the look of the AC units being right in the way of everything. But instead I decided to get these planters and I thought these would look so perfect right in front of the AC units. It would really disguise them and make the AC unit not such an eyesore since it is like kind of in the middle of everything and unable to be moved. But it's also just going to add a lot of color and interest to the areas. So with that, I was doing multiple things at once and I just feel like plants add so much to spaces. Whether they're real or fake, you can just completely transform a space just by adding a few plants.
Let's live life without regrets. Girl, put your faith in me, even though we just met. Let's forget about a curfew, cause all that is stuck in my head. It's me and you. Both speed and my heart is racing, but I'm not sure I wanna pace it, cause it only does this with you.
We now have all of the plants all done. All the furniture is nice and dry. Kyle actually cleared off all the boxes and everything. We have all the furniture built. We are finally to the good part. It's 5 o'clock at night and we're about to start on the patio. You guys ready? All right, I wanted to show you one final look of the patio before we completely transform it. It is fully clean right now. It's all scrubbed down and it is totally bare and we are about to work our magic. The first thing to do is to go ahead and add rugs. Now outdoor rugs are perfect because they are really thin and lightweight, which is what you need outside because it needs to be a fabric that's going to quickly dry if it rains and not hold on to all that moisture. But having a rug in an area really grounds the room. And if you're working on a big patio or something like that, like we are, it almost creates rooms. As we're kind of putting this together, imagine these spaces without rugs and just see how different they would look. They would just look like a group of furniture over here, a group of furniture over there, but the spaces wouldn't look near as intentional, and the spaces also wouldn't really look very defined. So for these two areas, the fire pit lounge area and the dining area, we added 2 different rugs. They are coordinating, but they're not the same, and that's just to give a little bit more interest. So to create this space, of course, we have these rugs that I've been talking about, and then we have the patio furniture, which is the same set that we had at our previous house. And then next we added a fire pit. Now I got this fire pit for over half off. I think it was about 60% off at the time. And this is another one of those items. It was kind of a splurge item, but I also got it on a really good deal. Just because it's your splurge item doesn't mean you need to spend a crazy amount of money on it. You can still buy those splurge items without them being like crazy expensive. But it just brought the whole fire pit area together. I actually added in some copper garden stools to be used around the fire pit and rocker area, and I used those to kind of tie all of the areas together. I felt like the copper really mimicked the wood tones that you see in the other spaces, and that was just a great way to be able to tie in all of this like mismatched furniture and make it all look intentional and make it all kind of flow together.
Your taste is really a bad reception out there. Where you heading? Why ain't gravity pulling you in closer to me?
The next thing we added was an umbrella. I really wanted to have an umbrella to this space because it's not completely shaded during part of the day. And so I wanted to make sure that this space was not only beautiful, but also functional most of the time. And so we ended up going for an offset umbrella that would sit beautifully over this table. But as you guys may know, those can be so expensive at the stores. So I really shopped around. You guys know I'm always going for a good deal. I pretty much will just not give up until I find a good deal. And we ended up finding this umbrella and base for under $150, which for one of these is such a good deal. So if you're really wanting something and you feel like it's just not going to be in the budget, definitely shop around and you can find something for a fraction of the cost. Next, we added in a few small fake plants, and a way to make these look not fake is first spend some time kind of fluffing them out. And my next tip for this is to go ahead and pop them into a larger planter and then fill that planter with something, whether it's moss or rocks or something, just to fill it up. And it kind of disguises that initial pot that it comes in, and it just ends up elevating it so much.
But I need you, and you're off my radar now. I've lost you.
Then the next thing on the list was to go ahead and hide the propane tank cord from laying on top of the carpet. So we just fixed that problem by slicing a small hole in the carpet and then sliding that right underneath, and then it just kind of disappeared. You don't notice it, you don't really step on it, and it just made the fire pit area look so much cleaner.
Where you heading? Why ain't gravity pulling you in closer to me? Yeah, I lost you. But I need you, and you're off my radar now. I lost you. Yeah, I lost you. Telling you that I need you, but you're off my radar now. I've lost you. I've lost you. I keep on looking for you.
Yesterday I told you I think that we made a mistake, 'cause you and I were lost.
So it's the next day. Actually, it's not even the next day. It's like the day after the next day. As you can see, the patio is totally tore up. It was so windy when I was talking. You guys literally couldn't understand anything I was saying. So I wanted to tell you guys a little bit about what happened. We kind of went into more detail over on our vlog channel, which I always have linked down below, but basically the morning after we finished all of the patio, my sister and brother-in-law's septic tank ended up having an issue and started to kind of back up into the house. It didn't get too crazy, but it did throw us through a loop a little bit. So they had to end up digging up some of the grass. And of course, we didn't want any issues with the patio. And so we had to pull everything off. So here you're just seeing us kind of start to put everything back on the patio so that we can go ahead and reveal it to my sister a little bit later in the day.
Still, it doesn't seem like you see me. I hate everything about this night. Doesn't matter what I do, can get to you. I don't wanna see when you're at parties with Ollie and the others. You know I really got along with him and your family. Your ex did barely say. Did we do it right? You know, no. Did we speak from our hearts so we can make it right without a fight? You know, no. Imagine what would happen if we did it right. You got me spinning round. You got me spinning round.
This patio turned out even better than I could have imagined. It's just so inviting, and I feel like honestly, just like any other video, the pictures and videos do not do it justice at all, and I feel like it really shines at night. It is just such a beautiful and inviting space. We have added in so much function. Now they have a beautiful dining set to go ahead and enjoy meals together as a family. They have this beautiful fire pit and lounge area where they can just talk with each other and just make all of these wonderful memories. Of course, they have that little rocking chair seating area where they can just sit and watch their kids play. I just loved how all of this came out, and we really were starting with a completely blank slate. Like, we really didn't have a whole lot to work with in the beginning, and being able to do this and staying on budget just is incredible. I love this space, and I cannot wait to go back to my sister's house and hang out, maybe roast some marshmallows and enjoy dinner together. It's just going to be like the perfect gathering spot for them. All right, my sister and brother-in-law just pulled up, so let's show them their new patio. Are you guys ready?
Yes.
Okay, you guys can turn around.
Oh, wow.
My gosh. That looks so nice. Love this area. This is so nice.
So those will like basically just kind of block the AC unit look.
That is awesome. I love it.
You do?
Yes.
Yeah, this is awesome.
It's so different. I will be here every night. I love that it's perfect. You can see from every seat. You can still see.
You coming? Your bow tie?
Fire, yeah.
Yeah.
Orange, yeah.
Oh, you like it?
Yeah, it's hot. Look at our table.
Keep on wishing for someone out there to hold. All those little moments, the bites you didn't catch me looking over your shoulder, just at the right time. Those little moments all led me to you. Only God knew about all those little moments.
All right, I'm dying to hear what was your favorite thing about this makeover. Let me know in the comments what you loved, anything you would do different. I just love to hear it all. I love this space so much. I feel like I can't express how excited I am to see all of this come together. It's just such a beautiful and inviting space. And I feel like it's actually the perfect space to really kick off this new series. We have so much more planned for you guys. We have multiple bedrooms, we have a living room, a pantry, so much. You definitely do not want to miss out on it. And I have to say, as much as I love this space, this one is not even my favorite. It only gets better from here. So definitely make sure you are subscribed so that you don't miss out on any future videos, and especially not this makeover series. I cannot wait to share all the rooms with you guys. These videos are going to be coming out on Mondays and Thursdays, and I think we're actually going to be sharing a giveaway in the series, so we're kind of wrapping up ideas on that, but stay tuned because that is going to be shared in the next video. As always, thank you so much for being here. You guys are the ones who make all of this possible, and we are just so grateful for you. I hope you have a wonderful rest of the day. Thank you so much for hanging out with us, and we will see you right back here in a few days in a brand new video.
All those little moments, the bus you didn't catch me looking over your shoulder, just at the right time. Those little moments, all let me.
Wow.
Hey guys, welcome back to the channel and welcome to episode number 2 in our budget boho makeover series. Today we are in my sister's guest room. We are going to be completely making over this space. I think the only thing that we're really keeping in here is the mattress and the bed frame because it was handed down by family. That's really the only thing in here. Otherwise, once again, we have like a pretty blank slate. We are getting a pretty late start to today. We've had a lot of things happen today. We actually shared it over on the vlog channel, so I will link that video up above for you guys if you are not following us over there, if you're not already subscribed and you missed out on all of the drama that's been going on today. But we do have a lot to get done. Like I said, we are getting a later start, so this is definitely going to turn into like a 2-day project, but we are going to start out by kind of clearing out some things, and then we have not only one wall to paint, but we're actually going to paint a stencil on this wall. And to be perfectly honest, I'm not 100% sure how the stencil is going to go because I haven't ever done that before, so we're going to do a little trial and error on this. Hopefully not too much error, but that's kind of where we're going to start out today and kind of see how smoothly we can get this to go. So without further ado, let's get into it.
I wanna hear you say that you only want me.
For this guest bedroom makeover, we have plans to keep this space very, very simple. Now that does not mean we are going to just have it be like a boring room. We are definitely going to add a lot of interest, a lot of texture, a lot of color, but we are not going to like overload this space. This is their guest bedroom, so we really want to make it really calm and peaceful for those who stay with my sister, but we also want to add some function, of course, and we don't really have a whole lot of room to do it. This is not a really large space, and so we really have to make sure that everything we are adding in is either adding a lot of interest, making the space feel larger, or adding function, and that is exactly what we are going to be doing today, and I cannot wait to share the entire process with you guys. Of course, we are going to be doing things on a budget, and I also wanted to share that we are going to be adding a $200 giveaway into this series, so I'm going to share a little bit more about the giveaway a little later on, so definitely stay tuned for that. Okay, there wasn't much to clear up, but we cleared it out. This is the stencil that we are going to be using. So originally we were just going to be painting it. We're going to be putting it on this wall over here. This paint, like we don't have any extra of this paint, and it's a flat paint, and so it just sucks up the paint as soon as it touches it. Like there's no seconds to wipe it off if you mess up. So we're like, I don't know if the paint's gonna do really well. And then I was kind of looking up some reviews on it, and it looked like people who used paint, you could just see a little bit of the bleed marks, and they want it to be really clean. So we're going to actually try Sharpies, but because this wall is going to be painted like just a regular dark paint on here, we can test out on this wall, especially like back behind the bed where you're never gonna see it, and then we'll just paint over that. But that will give us an opportunity to actually like test the stencil out, test out our Sharpie idea, see if it's gonna work, and then once we get that figured out, we can start sharpieing, painting, stenciling the wall. I don't know. Bear with us. It'll be cool, hopefully. So this one and this one was done with like the regular Sharpies. These ones were done with this guy. And they look really nice. Yeah, like they're dry now.
Definitely the way to go.
So before we get too far into the video, I did want to share all the details of the giveaway. So like I said, we are going to be giving away $200 cash to one of you guys. And as always, we want to keep these giveaways very simple and easy to enter. So all you have to do to enter is make sure that you are subscribed to this channel, or if you're not, go ahead and hit that subscribe button, because this is a way for us to give back to our amazing subscribers for always supporting us. You guys make it all possible. And the second thing you need to do to enter this giveaway is make sure to leave a comment on this video as well as the other episodes in this series. So there are going to be 5 videos. The other ones are not currently up yet if you are watching this on the day that it comes out, but the other episodes will be linked down in the description box as soon as they come out. So just click on those links and make sure that you leave a comment on each of the videos, and that will make you eligible to win the giveaway. I will have all of those details written down below, but definitely do not miss out on this giveaway. We are so grateful for you guys and just always want to find ways to give back to you. So this stencil ended up being such a labor of love. It just took so much time. It really wasn't difficult, but it was just like one of those tedious things. I would definitely suggest using the paint marker if you go this route, but I will link this stencil down below. I believe the shop had a lot of other stencil options, but this one was just so beautiful. It was really simple, but also gave a great statement, and it also was pretty affordable as well. So I think this is a great option if you want to add a big statement into a space, but you don't have a lot of budget to do it, or like us, you don't have a whole lot of space to work with. This is something that's going to make a big impact on your space without taking up any room at all. Alright, so I have a little section done. It is looking really good. I really love it. It's just like very tedious. Kyle has actually been going to different Walmarts trying to find more of these, and this has worked really well. That's kind of the holdup right now, is now I'm just waiting on Kyle. I think once we get to the bottom, I'm actually going to have to cut the stencil, and so because of that, I'm only doing the top, and then we will do one cut at the end. I think it's gonna be worth it, but it's a labor of love for sure. It is a new day, thank goodness, because Kyle and I were up till like 2 something in the morning finishing our beautiful accent wall. We are still going to add like an accent color, but this is honestly going to be like a main focal point of the room, and I love it so much. It took so long, but it was just so worth it. It looks so good. Definitely the paint markers were the way to go. So if you end up getting a stencil like this, definitely suggest the paint marker markers. They worked way, way, way better than I imagined the paint would. But we have still a lot to get done because literally this is like the only thing that we've done for the guest room so far. So now I'm going to start painting this wall. We are actually going to paint it Hail Navy, which is the same color that we have in our theater room. Kyle is actually in the living room right now starting to build one of the side tables in here, and then when I'm done with this I'll kind of catch up with him. We do have like curtains and just lots of little things to add, so we have a lot to get done, and today is our last day. Fingers crossed we can actually show my sister and brother-in-law their brand new spaces. I cannot wait, so definitely stay tuned for the reveals. They are going to be incredible. But without further ado, let's start painting again.
Told me that it wasn't right. I knew it first that time, and even if I was blind.
So this color, like I said, is Benjamin Moore Hail Navy. This is the same color that we used in our theater room at our own house, and we love it so much. It's definitely a very dark navy color, but it also has some gray undertones. And I've said this to you guys before, but if you are kind of like I have been in the past, or like my sister is, where you really kind of tend to sway towards neutrals and shy away from color, I feel like color can add so much interest to your space, and it can really customize it to your own personality. But I totally get being apprehensive about adding a bunch of color on your walls, so go ahead and find whatever color you're kind of drawn to, and then make sure to go for a more neutral tone of that color. So for example, we like the color blue, but we don't want it to be like bright in your face, so we kind of toned it down by getting a dark navy, and then we also found a navy that has some neutral undertones, and that's what's going to make this color feel a bit more subtle and not so in your face. So another thing that I wanted to mention is a big reason why we painted this wall a bold color was to actually add some interest and command your focus against the stencil being right next to it. And that way the stencil just kind of fades into the back. Now it's still beautiful, but it can definitely be overwhelming because it is a bit busy. And this way the stencil is just going to be a beautiful side note that doesn't feel so overwhelming.
I'll carry on with the fires left in me. You lifted me higher in my heartbeat, taking the fire out of me. You're taking me higher, 'cause you are the fire that's left in me. That's left in me. I've never been that much for love. Thought being free better than none. Tried it before with all I got. And all I know that was left now, the sun and the stars.
All right, we got the wall painted. I love it. It's like totally different than what we've done in a guest bedroom. I feel like it's just very bold, but I feel like it's just going to be like kind of moody. I don't know, I love it. I think it's gonna turn out so good, especially when we add like all the accents in here. But now that that is all done, Kyle is still building. I think he's on the second. He's on the second, what is that, the side table? Yeah, so we can't show you the living room yet or any of the other rooms, so we are building it in their kids' room. They have a little boy and a little girl, so we're just scooting things off to the side and gonna build it in here.
I got nothing more to lose.
So for my sister's guest bedroom, like I said, we didn't really have a whole lot of space to play with. So that's why I ended up opting for these specific side tables, because they were really nice and wide. They were going to fill the space really beautifully, but they also are big enough to be able to double as a small dresser. Of course, not for someone who is living in that room, but if you have guests, it's going to be perfect. It's going to double for them as a dresser as well as a side table. So next I'm just adding in some custom drawer pulls that I got off of Amazon. Again, I will have them linked down below, but there are so many to choose from. These are such a great way to make any item look custom, and they also help make your items feel way more high-end and just kind of help bring your personality into that space a little bit more.
I'm not gonna be silent in this beer of wang. Oh, you know I'm not that kind of girl. I'm much better.
All right, now that we have all the furniture built and the bedroom is painted, Kyle's gathering some of his tools because it is time to work on the curtain rod. And I also have this lamp. I shared it in a recent vlog, but I actually found this lamp, how cool is it, at Goodwill. So I was super excited. I don't think I'm gonna keep this actual color, but I think I'm just going to kind of tape off up here and spray paint it, just like a off-white kind of. And then I think it's gonna pop against that dark blue wall. I was gonna cut curtain pipe, we'll spray paint that, get that drying, spray paint the lamp. Is it literally just like kind of starting to style out the room a little bit?
I think that's it. Yeah, we cut this, paint this, hang the curtains, bring the furniture in, hang the picture,
Put the picture in.
style, done. It's like 85% done. It doesn't seem like it, but most of the work is done.
I do not want to drop this, guys, so I'm gonna put the camera down and carry this out.
Oh, you know I'm not that kind of girl. I'm much better off in the underworld. I've got
We have been sharing these DIY curtain rods for a couple of years now, and I've seen so many of you guys use them in your own home and send me pictures. Now, we originally started doing this because one, I really love the look. I think it looked really, really great. But two, it is also very budget friendly. Now, we were unhappily surprised when we went to the store this time, and the steel pipes that we typically get had like tripled in price, just like everything else. So we were still wanting to go this route, but we had to kind of be creative and find a little bit different way to do it. So at Home Depot, we ended up finding this conduit. I think we ended up going for the 3/4 inch, and you still want to make sure that it is metal. That's what's going to make it look really substantial and also feel sturdy and not sag in the middle. But the steel pipes that we have been using in the past were about $40 at this point, and these metal conduit pipes were about $12. So such a huge savings there. I definitely wanted to pass that on to you guys, but all we are doing is just cutting down the pipe and then spray painting it with a matte black, and then we're going to take some 2-inch strips of leather and we are going to cut those down to size, and then we just drill a wood screw partway in, and this is what will act as the bracket to hold up the pipe.
and my wings are gonna silence you. Kilimanjaro. And my legs are gonna turn into a tail. Oh, Kilimanjaro. Oh, Kilimanjaro, Kilimanjaro. I don't care if you don't wanna do all the things that I do, that I do. I only wanna be the one who makes you feel so good, so good. I'm trying to figure out where all of the pieces are going to fit, but I stumble in the dark.
All right, we are back outside because we were really hoping to use that Joshua tree picture. That was actually supposed to go in your office when I removed it.
It was in my office for a while.
Oh yeah, it was for a little bit.
Yeah.
This was actually the original piece that I was planning to use in the guest room here. And then we changed our mind, decided to try out the Joshua tree picture. That one didn't fit well. So this is the one that works really well in the space. However, I got this a really long time ago and it's just been like sitting around in our house. And I'll show you it up close, but it actually has a big crack on the glass, unfortunately. So we are going to have to take the entire glass piece out and just have it be as it is. So Kyle has his handy dandy hammer. We're gonna go ahead and smash it out.
She does look pretty good.
Yeah, I like it way better without the glass. It's not shiny.
Yeah.
Ooh, and this is like cardboard too, so that's nice. I like it.
There we go. Problem solved.
Of course, you guys know I'm going to use Velcro command strips anywhere I can. Anytime you have a piece of art that you want to put on the wall that's not super heavy, these work so incredibly well, and whether you're renting or you own your home, it just makes things a lot easier to hang up and of course easier to take down because it's not going to leave any holes or damage your walls at all. So definitely one of my simple must-haves when it comes to makeovers.
Somebody else. I'm trying to figure out how to keep it together. I don't understand.
Favorite part.
Don't do this today. But how much do you have? Kai, don't do this today. It's the last day. Don't do it.
The desperation in your voice. Kai, don't do this today.
You're such a drunk.
I'm not even doing it. I said I was ready.
Well, let's do it. Or do you think that's good? Now you have to go like this.
Did it work? So we filmed this series kind of out of order. We filmed the master bedroom first, followed by the living room and the pantry, and then we ended up filming episodes 1 and 2, which are the patio, and today's video, which is the guest bedroom. So even though this is only episode 2 for you guys, this was day 7 of filming. We had to have fun with everything because we were so tired at this point. So we definitely had to keep things kind of light and fun. All right, we are about ready to hang up the curtains, but the curtains are all like wrinkled. So I'm gonna show you a trick. I actually learned this from my sisters. So if you just toss something that's wrinkled, especially like linens like this, into your dryer with a couple pieces of ice cubes, you can actually like not have to wash them and they will come out like totally de-wrinkled.
Can't find a time where I can tell ya what I feel now. Been biting my tongue for a while. The words just wanna come out.
My biggest tip for curtains is to make sure to get floor to ceiling curtains. It is going to make the biggest difference in your room. It's going to add so much height to your room, and curtains really do a lot of work. Like, these are not technically going to be functioning curtains just because I don't think my sister is going to be opening and closing them a lot. They do have their blinds, which do serve that purpose, but these curtains are going to soften the room, and they're also going to bring your eye all the way up to the ceiling and make the space feel so much taller than it is.
Can't get my head around it. I can never hit the brakes. Every time you touch me, babe, you send me right out into space. You send me right out into space. Right into space.
Adding a mirror can really fill a space without overloading it and making it feel busy. It also is great at bouncing light around, which can make a room feel larger and brighter than it is. And of course, it can add function. So I really do love finding ways to add mirrors into rooms. And this one I loved. It's so beautiful and it looks way more expensive than it was. I actually found it at Walmart for around $60 and it's amazing. I will have this link down below along with everything else that we used in today's makeover. So anything that you're looking for, I will have it linked down below, and then also over on my Like to Know It page, and anything from Amazon will be saved in our Amazon favorites. So lots of places to check it out if there's anything that you saw today that you loved and want to add into your own home.
Every time you touch me, babe, you send me right out into space. nothing I can do. No. When I'm with you, I lose myself. I feel good. Oh, yeah, I don't know why. It's like a charge around us that just feels right. Can't get my head around it. I can never hit the brakes. Every time you touch me, babe, you send me right out into space. You send me right out into space. You were my best friend. Didn't care about the rules, good on the weekends. I'll be in fools, drifting to deep space.
All right, you guys have to let me know what you think of this space. I absolutely love it. I love how simple everything is. We definitely did not go heavy on the decor and everything, but instead we really let the accent color and the stencil and all of the textures that we added in, like the bedding and the few decor items, really make the impact for us. There are so many details in this room and it's still so simple and peaceful. Let me know if you guys like this bold bedroom. I feel like this is totally different than what we've done in the past, but we really enjoyed kind of challenging ourselves with this space and doing something totally different than we've done before. And you guys have to stay tuned for episode 5. That's going to be my sister's master bedroom. We did something completely different in that space, and you'll have to let us know which room ends up being your favorite style. If it's going to be this room that has like a more bold feel, or episode 5, which is the master bedroom, and that's going to be like super peaceful and calm and just relaxing. Whenever you guys watch that video, comment down below and let me know which style was your personal favorite. And stay tuned because in just a minute, you're going to see my sister and brother-in-law's reaction to this space and see how they like the space themselves. As always, thank you guys so much for watching. We shared in a recent vlog over on our vlog channel that we do these makeovers completely for free. My sister and brother-in-law paid nothing for this. We go ahead and supply everything. And the way we're able to do that is by sharing these videos with you guys. So you guys truly make this possible and we just could not be more grateful for you. If you found this video helpful or interesting, please share it with your friends. You guys have no idea how much that means to us and how much that helps us out. And of course, if you are not subscribed down below, be sure to hit that subscribe button and join the family so you don't miss out on the rest of this series or any of the future videos that we share on our channel. I hope you guys have the most amazing day, and I will see you right back here in a few days for episode 3. Alright, the guest bedroom is complete and my sister and brother-in-law are about to arrive, so we're about to reveal it to them. I hope they love it because we could not be happier with it. So close your eyes. And open up.
Whoa,
Oh my gosh.
that's way different.
Wow.
Wow.
This is beautiful.
That's really cool.
Yeah.
So calm in here. I
Wow.
love it. And I
Yeah.
actually like that it's different from
Your
our
bedroom, yeah.
and living room.
It's like a totally
it's
different
not a
space.
different, but it's
But
so
equally as nice.
calming in here.
Yeah.
I like this a lot.
That is
Yeah.
Isn't that cool?
impressive.
That is just like pops.
Yeah, we've never done that, but that turned
Yeah.
out really
so this
cool.
is like the original white wall. It's not a different.
Right.
Yeah, it's so
That
cool.
is so cool.
Well, I'm glad
so
you guys
awesome.
like it.
Mom calls this her room and
Yeah.
so she's like, I can't wait to see what my room will look like.
Yeah, no, this gets a lot of use.
Hey guys, welcome back to our budget boho makeover series where we are making over 5 different spaces in my sister's home, and today we are on episode 3. We are focusing on her living room and also her entryway. Don't worry about all the mess. We have a lot of things going on this week, but it is going to be so worth it once we are done. We are going to really transform this space. We're going to be using a lot of the same furniture pieces like her couches and their chair, but we are going to be adding so much function to the space, so much texture and interest. And of course, you guys know we're gonna be painting and doing all that stuff. So we do have a lot to get done. Let's go ahead and jump to it.
I wanna hear you say that you only want me.
So before we jump into everything, I wanted to show you guys some really good before shots so you guys could go ahead and see kind of what we're starting out with. You guys are definitely going to want to come back to this section of the video once we are all done because it will not even feel like the same space at all. We are going to completely transform it. Now, normally whenever we do these makeovers, if we are painting, that's the first thing that we're going to do. But because we do have a lot of prep work to do, we are going to actually tackle that stuff first. We are going to be making our DIY curtain rods. I will show you how exactly we do that later on. And we're also going to be doing some DIY projects for their entryway and painting the couch legs.
Those are the things we're gonna start with, and then once we get that done, we can start building furniture, painting the accent wall, and continuing on.
As you can see, the couch legs are actually brown. A lot of the furniture that we are going to be using will have black legs, so we wanted to spray paint the existing couch's legs to help match the new furniture. And that's going to be one of those small touches that I always talk to you guys about in makeovers that is really going to make the existing pieces that we're using feel more intentional and not like we were just using them to save money. For our DIY curtain rods, I've shared this in several videos, but I recently shared in episode 2, which was the guest bedroom makeover. I talked about how the pipes that we were using have really gone up in price, and the ones that we found that ended up being a really good deal now is actually the EMT conduit pipes at Home Depot. The ones we got are 3/4 inch by 10 feet, and we just cut them down to size, then go ahead and spray paint them in matte black, and they end up working so well. So I'll definitely share kind of more about the process later on, but this is all the prep work that we need to get done for those. Next up, we are going to cut down a piece of wood, sand it, and stain it, and this is going to go in their entryway to kind of create a set of hooks. You'll see how we do that later on, but we ended up deciding to include their entryway in their living room makeover because it is such a small space, so it really wasn't going to take a whole lot of money or time, and it's also super connected to the living room, and so it's just one of those things that I felt was going to really enhance the living room area. That's why the entryway ended up kind of getting roped into the living room area.
Live your life within the moment. and don't go wait until the morning.
All right, now we have all of that prep work done. Curtain rods are all cut, sanded, and painted. We have the board for the entryway all stained and cut and sanded and everything. Also, the couch legs are painted. So Kyle's just fixing any holes in the wall so we can go ahead and sand that down and I can get started on painting. And then we're also gonna start like clearing out in here and taking things down.
You never know when it is over. All that I know is we'll get older. So let us dance this night away.
You guys know I love to start most any makeover with a clean slate. I feel like it makes everything easier to build furniture, just to move about, especially if you're painting. But it also helps me imagine the new space and just kind of see what changes need to be made to what I'm planning. Because you guys know every makeover comes with its hiccups and things that you need to change along the way and kind of adapt. So this just kind of helps that process be a little bit smoother. But I did want to take this time to share about the giveaway in our budget boho makeover series. So we are going to be giving back to one of you guys. We are giving away $200 cash. This is international, so even if you don't live in the US, you can definitely go ahead and enter down below. And all you have to do to enter is super easy. Just go ahead and make sure that you are subscribed to this channel, because once again, this is a subscriber giveaway. We are just wanting to give back to you guys because you are the ones who make all of this possible. And we are just truly so grateful for you. And the last thing you need to do is make sure that you leave a comment on each of the makeover videos in this series. So there are going to be 5 of them. I will have all of them linked down below just to make things a little bit easier, but make sure you leave that comment because that's what's going to make you eligible to enter to win. And that's how I'm going to be able to reply back to you and let you know that you won. So I will have all of that information down below for you, but make sure to enter. It's super simple and easy, and good luck.
Dance this night away.
All right, I have my paint clothes on. My hair is up. Paint has been poured. Time to start painting.
I'm starting out painting by cutting in all of the edges. I've learned over time how not to use painter's tape and how much time you can save. Obviously, if you're just starting out painting, you're going to want to do painter's tape, but this has saved us so much time and money not having to buy the painter's tape as much. But I'm just starting out by painting the bottom 2/3 of the entryway wall, and then we are going to later on add that piece of wood on top. Now the reason we chose evergreen fog for this space is because first, I love this color. We actually have this color in our home and we just adore it. I feel like it's the perfect green. It's very soft and it works really, really well if you are going for like the modern boho style. It's very, very earthy and warm and welcoming, but it's also a very neutral color, which I've talked about this before, but if you are interested in using colors, but you don't want to go too wild and crazy, find a color you're really drawn to and then find a neutral tone of that color. And that's going to be one that you're going to feel a lot more comfortable with because you'll still be able to add all of your neutral decor and you won't be feeling so overwhelmed by the intensity of it. All right, we have the walls painted.
I'm going to have to wait until the paint is like totally 100% dry, and then we can see if we actually need to do like another coat on anything. But we do have the accent wall, or like half accent wall I guess, over here, and then we have the full accent wall on this side. Kyle's been building one of the TV stands, so we're getting further along.
While I was painting the accent walls, Kyle started putting together the new TV stand. I love this TV stand that we got so much because it actually is 2 different pieces, but when you put them together, they totally don't look like 2 different pieces. They just look like one seamless piece. But having it like this is really cool because it actually gives you the option to use it as 2 different pieces in different areas of your home if you decide to change things up later on. We are actually planning to completely change up our game room area upstairs, and this is the unit that I really want to put in that room. So stay tuned. I'm sure you will see this again. I just love this one so much. And as always, everything is going to be linked down below or over on my Amazon favorites or on my like to know it. I will try to link all of it up for you guys. But again, as always, if you have any questions about anything, let me know in the comments and I'll do my very best to answer all of them.
About to leave, already packing, come with me. I'm not really asking, we'll get away to a place where we don't know.
So I talked about this in episode 1, which was our patio makeover. That turned out so good, by the way. If you have not seen that, I will link it down below. You guys have to watch that one. But one of the things that I talked about in that episode is how beneficial adding a rug to a space can be. When you add a rug to a space, you definitely want to make sure that you are getting the right size rug. A lot of times you can even look up on Pinterest how a certain sized rug would look depending on what kind of furniture you have or what size room you have. But a general rule to make sure that you are getting a large enough rug is making sure that it's large enough to fit the 2 front feet of all of the furniture in your room on that rug. That is going to help ground that space, and it's also going to help make the space feel bigger. But if you choose a rug that's too small for the space, it can end up doing the opposite and making the space feel a lot smaller and definitely not grounded.
I am definitely gonna have to change the plan on this a little bit. I ended up moving their couches, like I swapped them because they had their long couch this way and then the love seat this way, because then you can actually have the recliner right here. But I'm kind of thinking this might be more inviting because like it's more open right when you walk in the door. And then also you have your long couch facing the TV and like going the more traditional way to do it. And then you have your love seat on the side. So I think this little guy is throwing me off just a little bit because I had a different plan for this corner. But I'm just gonna start like adding some things, maybe throwing up some decorations, just kind of getting a feel for the space, make it up as we go along.
The first thing that I'm adding into the room after we've got the furniture is live plants. Now you guys know I love adding plants to spaces because they add life, they add brightness, color, movement into any room. I'm also adding in these woven textured poofs in place of a coffee table or ottoman. These are going to add texture as well as a place to prop up your legs. And then I've also added a basket to hold all of their cozy blankets. All of these pieces are going to add function, but because of the color and shape and texture of them, they are also going to add to the style and feel of the space, just making it feel really welcoming and warm and also very earthy and super cozy. I feel like I do this all the time when I'm doing these makeovers. I always try to address the function needed in a space, but as I'm adding that function, I figure out how I can make that functioning item also become part of the style of the room.
I think I might have figured it out. They had told me that they really want a blanket basket or something to put blankets in because They're always snuggling up with blankets. They sound just like us. Even here in Arizona, we're always like, or at least I am always cold. And then I also put poofs on both sides of this couch just to kind of tuck them away, but because they don't want a coffee table since they have 2 young kids and they're doing basically the same thing that we did, we just always were scooting it off to the side so that we had room for the kids to play on the floor. And so for that reason, they just didn't need a coffee table or an ottoman or anything like blocking this nice middle area of the floor. My answer to that was to go ahead and add some poofs. That way, if you're sitting back, kind of relaxing, watching a show, you could still pop your feet up on something, but they could also be something that can kind of scoot away and not take up the middle of the floor space.
As I'm sure you could tell, this rug was so lifted and wrinkled, so I went ahead and vacuumed it because sometimes that can kind of pull the wrinkles out, just lifting all the fibers up. That did not really work, so we ended up bringing it outside, laid it flat in the sun for a while, and just kind of went out and stretched it occasionally, and that actually worked amazing. You'll see it later on, you'll see such a difference in that rug. So I feel like this space was turning out so beautifully, but we definitely needed to tackle this big wall. And so the reason that I opted for high floating shelves is because, one, my sister has 2 small children and she didn't want decor like really down low where it was easy for them to grab. The second reason is I wanted to fill a very large space on a budget. So it really tackled this whole back wall without spending a whole lot of money. And the third reason is because it's super easy to change out your decor and style whenever you have floating shelves. You can just simply take things down off the shelf very quickly, add new things on, and you can completely transform your space. So for the entryway, we painted the bottom 2/3 of the wall the accent color, and then we left the top white. Next, we're just adding our stained board that we cut to size. Then we are adding these black hooks. And last, we are going to finish off the space by adding some beautiful picture frames my sister already had. So this entire space cost us less than $20, but it added so much. I feel like it set the tone right when you walk in, and I feel like it also made the living room feel bigger by carrying the accent wall color through, and last but not least, it also added function through the hooks. And as you can tell, I just love this space so much.
You guys, this entryway, I love it so much. This was so incredibly cheap. Like, we used paint we already had. We got a piece of wood that was under $10. I actually had these hooks, but I think they're like $15 for a pack of 20 or something like that on Amazon. And then my sister already had these pictures, and it just is such an impact, especially continuing on from their new accent wall. I love it so much. It's like one of my favorite things now. But we are gonna go ahead, check on the rug outside, see if like any of the wrinkles have kind of gone away. And then I think we're gonna get to decorating, and then we'll also add the curtains.
Wide awake is the way that you left me, side by side in your car in the backseat. Wide awake is the way that you left me, oh. Now it's clear we are here back at your house, and I keep fading into the background.
As you'll see, as I begin adding the decor to their TV stand and the floating shelves, I am actually using a lot of the decor that they previously had on their wall,
One, because I wanted to keep it personal to them, so I wanted to keep some things that I knew were special to them. You'll also notice the golf touches. My brother-in-law and sister are such golf fanatics, like it's such a big part of their life that I really wanted to make sure to include things that were personal to them. But doing it this way also keeps things very budget friendly because we are using a lot of the decor that they had, but also because I was able to add in several new pieces, it really gives new life to all of their old decor, and it just kind of helps to stretch your budget a little bit more. So if you have a space that you're trying to tackle, don't feel like you need to go out and get all new things. Just adding in a few new home decor items can really make your existing items feel brand new. Alright, I am getting a little bit stuck right now on decorating. I honestly didn't bring like too much, and I love these picture ledges, but the only thing is they are fairly shallow. So a lot of things are like just a hair too like deep. So I do have to go print something that I forgot to print out before we came down to my sister's house. So we're gonna go out tonight anyway, and I'm gonna print that out, and we had to get like a plug or something, like just some random stuff. So while we're out, I'm just gonna see if I see anything that would like kind of fill these two spots nicely. Kyle's gonna go ahead and build the lamp, and then we'll kind of see how it fits in here. And then I think we might head out for the night, and then tomorrow we'll go ahead and just like add the throw pillows, add the curtains, and like any final touches. Okay, so while Kyle is building the lamp, I want to show you how it's all in the details. Like if you just paint a wall or like you just do certain things, it's like it'll look much better, but it's really all about the details. So this is a perfect example of that. I have this little saguaro cactus. My brother actually carved this when I was up in Montana recently. I was going to put it up on the shelves, but I'm actually going to take just another minute or two and stain it. And it's actually just going to like tie in that same wood tone into the living room as it is in the entryway. And it's just gonna like bring your eye over and pop. It's just gonna look so good. So don't overlook those little details. Alright, it is a new day and we don't have much to get done, which is good because my sister and brother-in-law are going to be back in just a few short hours. We want to make sure we are totally ready for them so we can go ahead and reveal their new space to them. So this morning, Kyle and I have just cleaned everything up. You can see like a lot of stuff is put away. It's not as messy as it was yesterday. And we did find just a few things. So both my brother-in-law and my sister are super big golf fanatics. They love golfing and they have golfed pretty much ever since they met, and my brother-in-law has golfed like most of his life. And they had this course, it's just like really special to them. They worked there together and they just spent a ton of time when they were married early on, you know, pre-kids. I got their golf course actually like mapped out for them and I put it in a frame last night. This is what I had to go get printed. So I'm gonna turn you guys around and show you that, and then I'll show you the other things that I got. So this is how the print turned out. It's so cool. It's really simple, but I just love that it's like golf inspired and it's also just something really like specific and special to them. Whenever I'm doing these makeovers, I really try to add things that are their style, but also things that are like really special to them. So I'm excited for them to see that one. I already had these two pieces. I did pick up a little greenery, a candle, and another to possibly add on the shelves. I also got this because I couldn't find that one until we got home, of course. And then this little pillow, I know it looks silly to add in here, but the back is plain. And I wanted to add a blue pillow just to kind of tie in the chair into the space. But our nephew, he is 2 years old and he loves like dump trucks and trains, just like all this kind of stuff. So I thought that would be so fun. Like you flip it around and it looks cute. And then for him, he can flip it around and enjoy the little dump truck. So that's what we're gonna go ahead and get started on. Kyle's actually just moving a few things around on the back patio area. While he's working on that, I'm just gonna go ahead and start decorating the shelves.
I once felt I'm done with the defense. Drove back and climbed over your fence. Had to show you that I was a mess. So you were shrugging your shoulders. I'm closed off, that's what I told you. Soon enough, everything started to change. 'Cause there's no going
So to create our DIY pipe curtain rods, you're just going to cut the pipe down like we did earlier to your desired size. We typically do a 10-inch overhang on both sides of the window. Then of course you're going to spray paint the pipe like we did. We personally love the matte black look. And then as you're seeing here, we are just using 2-inch wide leather. You're going to go ahead and make a loop and cut it to the desired length that you want your curtain rod to hang down from the ceiling. Then next you're going to drill a screw right into the top section of the leather, making sure that it's looped as you do this so that it goes through both pieces. Then last you're going to push the looped leather up to the ceiling and screw it in, and then you can add your curtain and pipe. It is so incredibly easy to do this. It's super budget friendly and I feel like it looks so clean and modern. I would love to hear in the comments how many of you guys have actually done these DIY curtain rods. I've seen a lot of you guys tag me over on Instagram or email me pictures, but I would love to hear how many of you guys have actually tried this out.
Get over the hillside, it's alright. We stood there all wide-eyed, you and I, floating on air in my mind. 'Cause there's no going back, no going back. There's no going back to your old life. Not living in the past, we're over that. I'm feeling it tonight, riding on the dizzying highs.
So again, when we were starting this makeover in the living room, we were not intending on doing any of the curtains in the dining room area, but just like how we decided to add on the entryway to this makeover, we decided to go ahead and add the dining room onto the makeover as well. And that's because some rooms really don't need a full makeover, like the dining room, for example. But because it is so open to the living room and the living room is going to be like super styled and everything, all we're doing is just connecting it to the living room through the curtains. And it just makes you feel like the entire space is being transformed when in reality, all we did was add a few extra curtains. I can almost guarantee that you have spaces in your home that can really just piggyback off of another styled space by carrying through 1 or 2 components like this. This is such a budget saving tip because this allows you to not have to do a whole lot to different spaces. You can just add a few touches to certain areas and it will completely transform the whole space.
Just got a text. They're gonna be here in about 20 minutes, so we are like really at the end of it. We're gonna go ahead and get the last little touches. I'm hoping that we can finish in time, and then we'll see what they think of their new home. Man, you like that table.
We're running out of time. I gotta go quick.
It's like the most intense I've ever seen a table be.
Yeah. You like that?
Yeah.
There's no going back, no going back. There's no going back to your old life. Not living in the past, we're over that. I'm feeling it tonight, riding on the dizzying highs. I'm standing on the dizzying highs. I'm standing on the dizzying highs. I'm standing on the dizzying highs. Standing on the dizzying highs. Everything's so much better.
One of the final touches was to add a second live plant into the corner of their dining room. That's another way that I just kind of brought that space to life in a very budget-friendly way. And I also added in some new throw pillow covers. You guys know I love my throw pillow covers because they are way more affordable than buying brand new throw pillows, and they also are way easier to store when you want to change them out. But another thing I wanted to mention is I always try to find ways to tie different rooms in a house all together. For example, if you saw episode 2, which was the guest bedroom makeover, you might have noticed that the black pillow cover kind of mimics the wall stencil that I did in that room. It's all those small touches, but just like I always say, it's all in the details. And doing things like that is really going to help make your home feel like a very, very cohesive and intentional space. Last but not least, I am adding a rug to the back door that coordinates with the front door rug, and then I'm just using my favorite rug tape to secure it down before my sister and brother-in-law arrive. All right, we just heard a car door outside. I'm pretty sure they're here. We just finished taping the rugs. Let's see what they think.
I can be anything, whatever you want me to be. It's a call to the ring.
All right, you guys may have to come back and watch this section again and really notice all of the things that have been completely transformed. And are you guys ready for the after? Oh my gosh, I love this space. This ended up being my second favorite makeover space that we did for my sister and her family. The first is still her master bedroom. I just think that one cannot be beat. I cannot wait to share that with you guys. But this living room is gorgeous. I'm so happy that we decided to include the entryway and also go into the dining room area. I feel like it just made everything really come together. All of the details really worked with each other. We of course have the beautiful evergreen fog accent wall that just kind of creates like the perfect soothing background to this space. And then we have the big rug that actually makes the space feel a lot larger than it is. And of course, all of those beautiful curtains we added in that go all the way up to the ceiling, and they really make the rooms feel so much taller than they are. And it also adds a lot of texture and breaks up all of that white on the wall. And then you get into all of the details like the beautiful lamp we've added in. The two very gorgeous live plants add so much life into the space. The little touches of the golf decor that my sister and brother-in-law definitely love. And then also the entryway. Can we just have like a moment for the entryway itself? It is so stunning, so functional. I just truly love everything we did in this space, and I don't even think I would change anything. Let me know in the comments if there's anything that you would personally change, or if you just want to share a favorite thing in this room, let me know in the comments below. In just a few seconds, you guys are going to see my sister and brother-in-law's reaction to their space. This is always like my favorite part, and I know it's a lot of your guys' favorite part as well, so definitely stay tuned for that. I did want to mention we do still have 2 more episodes coming. One is going to be coming out in a few days, and then the 5th and final episode is going to be coming out next Monday. So be sure to stay tuned for that. Make sure you are subscribed down below if you are not already. Thank you guys so much for being here. I say this all the time, but we really could not do this without you, and we were just so grateful for you guys. Also, don't forget to get entered into the big giveaway that we have going on, and I will see you guys right back here in a few days with a brand new episode. Bye guys.
We'll roll with the punches.
Okay, you can open your eyes.
Oh gosh.
No.
Oh my gosh.
Look, Brooks. Wow. That's so cool.
That is amazing. Oh.
Look. You like that?
Brooks, look at this pillow.
Oh. You want to see it?
Yeah, that is so cool.
Beep beep.
Beep beep.
Oh, that looks so good.
Those cabinets have little bins so we can put like Brooks toys in them or whatever you want.
Oh my gosh. I like that they're magnet.
Beep beep.
Oh, this looks awesome.
We have a little remote
That is
keeper.
so sweet. You guys did like little golf pitches and this.
So
That is so cool.
I'm so happy you guys love it.
We'll roll with the punches.
Hey guys, welcome back to episode 4 in our budget boho makeover series. Today we are focusing on the pantry right behind me. We are going to be doing your traditional pantry makeover where we are putting everything into bins and containers, making it really organized and functional. But we also are going to be adding some beauty into the pantry. Whenever I do these makeovers, I always try to add function first, but I also want to make them really beautiful and a place that you enjoy seeing and enjoy being in. And I'm going to do the same thing for the pantry. So we do have a lot to get done because I'm not doing just your basic pantry makeover in this video. So without further ado, let's go ahead and jump into it.
I wanna hear you say that you only want me.
Every time that my mind slip, I just see my past life. Having dreams in a dream, I wonder why I carried on with the things that made you lose your mind. There's no way I can undo what I've done. Can we be strangers again, start fresh like a morning? What's so bad about that? So why won't you follow? Why won't you follow me home? I know I can't make you mine. Yes, I ran out of town. There's no hope for me. I fell down the bottom.
So I'm sure you guys could have predicted how I was gonna start this out. And of course, I am taking everything out of the pantry. And as I'm pulling everything out, I'm also organizing it into different piles over on the counter. That is going to, one, allow me to kind of see the blank slate of how the pantry is. And then I can start to envision exactly how I'm going to best organize the pantry. And it also cuts my work in half because then I don't have to reorganize everything over on the counter. I just have everything kind of like organized into piles and I can start figuring things out a little bit easier from there.
Why won't you follow me home? I know I can't make you mine. Yes, I ran out of town. There's no hope for me. I fell down the bottom, so I fell down way deep. But if I can't have the real you, then let me make a 3D print of you.
All right, I have everything all pulled out of her pantry. I actually just gave my sister a quick call, a quick little FaceTime call. Just went over everything because this is the first time we've done a makeover on someone's pantry without them being nearby where I could like ask for help. Like, do you want this? Where do you want this? How do you want this kind of thing? Like she had told me before, her baby is basically out of baby food. This candy is from forever ago and hard, so that's good to toss out. The peanut butter, they actually don't go through peanut butter, so I think I'm gonna go ahead and donate that because she said most of it is like brand new. It was just given to them. Like there's just a lot of things where it either doesn't need to be stored in the pantry or, you know, whatever the case may be. So that was really helpful. I kind of have a plan now for all of these, but what we're gonna do in the pantry before we actually start like putting things in bins and containers and everything and making it functional, I am going to tackle these shelves because just like the rest of the house, they are painted in like that really chalky, super flat paint. And as you can see, like I was scrubbing them and I couldn't get any of the black marks off or anything. I really just think it's like scrapes. So I'm actually going to paint in the pantry. However, I am not going to paint everywhere because one, it's gonna take more paint, two, it's gonna take more time, and also third, I just think it's gonna look really cool, like having the shelves be a different color. So I'm going to have it be very subtle, but I'm going to tie in with what we've kind of done throughout the rest of the house, and I'm actually going to paint it pale oak. So I'm going to have the back walls just be normal white, and then these will be like a soft pale oak. I think it's going to turn out amazing. I really don't think it's gonna take that much time. Knock on wood, fingers crossed that I don't regret saying that, but that's what we're gonna go ahead and focus on now is painting those shelves, and then we will start tackling the actual pantry stuff.
You only make you feel like you could never leave. Do the same, we can't go back. This is all we need. Follow me to make believe and make your dreams come true. This night means forever, and so does me and you. We say we love, we say we love. till something better came along.
So I am super curious what you think about the two-tone pantry look. I don't feel like I've ever seen this anywhere before. Not to say it hasn't been done before, I just haven't ever come across it, but I really love how it turned out. And this is just one of those kind of things where you just kind of have to get creative with what you're doing. This isn't something that is very typical, I don't think, but it's something that totally fixed our problem of all of the scuffed up shelves. And it also is something that kind of adds a little bit something extra, a little something custom to their home that I think not a lot of homes have. So let me know in the comments what you guys end up thinking about the two-tone pantry. I also wanted to take just a minute before we get any further in the video to let you guys know about the giveaway that we have going on throughout this entire makeover series. We are going to be giving back to one of you guys $200 cash, and as usual, we want to make it super easy to enter. So all you have to do is go ahead and make sure that you are a subscriber to our channel, because this is one of our ways that we love to give back to you guys for supporting us and just always being there and being so amazing. And the second thing that you need to do is be sure to comment on this video as well as the other 4 videos in the series. There are a total of 5 videos in this makeover series, so I will have all of those linked down below for you. And that is going to be it. Be sure that you leave a comment though, because that's how I'm going to be able to respond to your comment and let you know that you've won. So good luck, and don't forget to let me know what you think of the two-tone pantry. Are you pro two-tone pantry, or do you kind of like it all one color? I just finished painting the shelves. I love how it turned out. It's super subtle and you just get that pop and contrast between the two. I love seeing that in here. Plus it fixed our problem of like not having to put up shelf liners or anything, but now the shelves actually look nice. They're not all beat up, and also this paint is going to be wipeable. It's not like a really glossy paint, but it also is not super flat, and so it is going to be able to be wiped off and cleaned if anything spills in here, and then she won't be running into the same issue that she's ran into, I'm sure, throughout the rest of her house with like the really chalky flat paint. So next on our list, we are going to tackle her can storage, which is good because she does have a lot of cans, and we are going to go my favorite route for that. You can either hang it over the door, or you can go ahead and attach it to the door or the wall, anywhere really. Attaching it is definitely my favorite just because it's not going to bang, but if you are renting, this is also a great option. It's pretty affordable. You can really hold so many cans. This can organizer is one of my favorite things to add to a pantry. If you guys have been subscribed to the channel for a while, you guys, I'm sure, have seen me add it to numerous pantries in the past, including our own. You can not only add this to doors, but you can also put it on like a large wall if you have that in your pantry. And you can even do this if you are renting your home. A while back, like before we moved to Arizona, I actually did my other sister's pantry, and she was renting her apartment at the time. And so instead of drilling it into the door, we we actually just use the over-the-door hangers, and you can make this totally renter-friendly, and I also love that it's super affordable.
Gotta get it right now. Yeah, push all the limits with you right now. Gotta get it right.
So here I'm just using a can to kind of determine how far apart to set the shelves. This can definitely be readjusted later on as many times as you want. It's not like something that's set in stone, but I love, 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 love this organizer so much. And I think the biggest reason I love it is because you are totally utilizing the space that normally would have been completely wasted. And I also love that everything lays flat, it's front and center, so you're not like stacking a bunch of cans deep in your pantry and not knowing how much you have. It's just super easy whenever you go to make your grocery list. You can see exactly what you have and exactly what you need more of. And as always, this is going to be linked down below, just like anything else that we use in today's makeover. All right, now that we have our beautiful can organizer all set up and filled with all of those cans that were on the counter, I'm gonna go ahead and take the bins and things like that that I have, and I'm actually gonna start setting them in the pantry. I'm probably going to kind of like rearrange it as we actually start filling them up, but this will just really give me a good opportunity to see exactly what's gonna end up fitting in there, how we can kind of organize it, and it will give us a good place to start. So let's start pre-organizing. Okay, so as I'm kind of filling this up, something that I do that helps me is I have a little pen and paper, and I'm literally just going to start like writing down, like, I know this back container is going to hold spaghetti. I know the front one is going to hold pasta. I can go through like what we have on the counter and see exactly like what we're needing, and then I can tear them off, set them on top of the container or in front of them, and then when I go to make labels, I know exactly what containers need what labels, and I know that we're not putting too much organization in here for what we need. So that is what I'm going to do now. I make my own DIY labels with my Cricut machine, which I can totally recommend. I love it so much, and it's helped me like customize different areas in my home, especially when I'm organizing. But if you don't have a Cricut machine, you can still make your pantry look like this. You can just order your labels off of Amazon. They have like pre-made ones, or you can order custom labels like I'm making today over on Etsy. I will link a few of my favorite labels down below, as well as my Cricut machine if you're interested in getting one. I believe I saw they just went on sale recently, so you can go ahead and snag that for a deal, or you can of course just get some pre-made labels like I talked about. All right, it is a new day and we are back at the pantry, you guys. We do have a lot done, honestly. This is kind of like the fun and easy part. So last night I actually went ahead and washed up all the containers and let them dry overnight. I think before we actually fill up the containers, I think I'm gonna go ahead and fill up the wicker bins in there, just because that will give me a lot more space to sit there and like fill up the containers. I'll definitely share some of my tips for what to put in containers, what to put in bins, whatever. But this pantry is going to be like night and day from when we started. So let's get to it.
Why you wanna let me go now? Are you saying that to change your mind? For love or pity, let me know now. Cause your love made me go blind.
One of the most common questions that I get whenever I share pantry videos is how to decide what to put into containers and what to put in baskets or bins. So for your clear containers, I would suggest anything that is a staple in your pantry or something that gets used up and rebought regularly. For example, that might be flour or pasta or rice. That will definitely be personal to you. But for me, in the makeovers that I've done, those are typically the items that I see go into those containers. And then as for what to put in bins, everything else. So that means things that are individually wrapped or items that don't really get used up quickly or repurchased. So for example, this might be like microwave popcorn bags or granola bars or that one random ingredient that you don't use very often. Those are the kind of things that are going to get stored neatly into baskets and bins. One thing that my sister did say is that they typically will have big gatherings outside. So I have this beautiful container. It's almost like decorative, but it's going to function as like just pulling everything down. I also got this little like silverware caddy, and it comes with the handle. So it's just like easy. You can just go ahead and like pull it down, but it also stores everything if they just need to grab one every now and then. And so I am going to go ahead and organize this, but I also want to organize it in a way that will make it convenient to actually bring everything outside or bring everything out on the counter without having to just like pull individual items. There's a couple more baskets at the very bottom. Those are pretty much just going to be for like overflow. So I think I'm going to wait and see what overflow we have, and I'll start pouring into containers, the most satisfying part.
I know you don't mean to, but you're blocking my view. I know you got issues.
And I also did want to mention, because I always get questions about this, these containers that I'm using today are my favorite airtight containers. They are such a great price. I have them in my own pantry. I've included them in so many different pantries that we've made over. They are just my favorite. So I will have them linked down below. And then the specific baskets that I'm using are actually from Home Goods. But if you don't have a Home Goods near you, I did find some super similar ones over on Amazon. So I will link that set down below for you guys.
But I don't need your help. Get out of my way, my way. I'm moving on up. Don't make me stay, to stay. I'm done being stuck. Get out of my way, my way. I'm moving on up. The last thing I will ever do for you is wish you the best of luck. La 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 la, la 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 la, la 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 la, la 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 la. Catch you on the flip side. Maybe we can be friends when you're not so fragile. When you know yourself well, somewhere down the sweet line. When I do things for me, 'cause I don't wanna be a therapy. I wanna be free, so ooh, gotta go and grab a spoon now. Ooh, make a life for myself.
Oh my gosh, this kind of stuff is so satisfying to me. I love watching things being decanted into these clear containers. I feel like it's just so satisfying to watch. But anyway, one thing that I wanted to mention is another question that I get asked a lot during these pantry makeover videos, and that is when I'm decanting these items, what to do with the instructions that are on, for example, a pancake mix. Now, there's many ways to go about this, but I personally like to make things super simple, and I literally just cut off the instructions on the box, and then I either tape it to the back of the container or on the bottom of the container, and you're good to go. Anytime you pull it out, you always have those instructions easily accessible.
La 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 la, la 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 la, la 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 la, la 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 la, la 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 la, la 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 la. I know, you know, it's time you let me go. Don't call, don't follow, 'cause I'll do it fine on my own. I know, you know, it's time I let
All right, we have just about everything done. Everything is put into little containers. The only thing really left is just like little bits that are like overflow items. So those are gonna go in the bottom bins, like the overflow and maybe like large snack bins. And then we were down to labels. Okay, so last night I actually worked on the labels. I have them all printed out. So I'm just gonna go ahead and add them onto all the canisters and also all of the bins onto these little guys. Like I mentioned, I make all of my DIY labels with my Cricut, and I love labels because it not only helps tie things together, but it also helps other people in your home know where things go when they go to put them away. Now, as you saw, I just add the labels straight onto those clear containers, but for the baskets, it gets a little bit trickier. You'll see in just a minute, I picked up the cutest little chalkboard labels from Amazon. I will link those down below, but they ended up working out so perfectly for the baskets. Let me know in the comments if you've seen our other makeovers in our budget Boho Makeover series. So far, we have shared the patio makeover. We've also shared a guest bedroom and the living room. Today, of course, we're sharing the pantry. And next week, we are sharing the 5th and final makeover, which will be the master bedroom. That one is my favorite. I cannot wait to share that with you guys. I'm so excited that we've been able to share all these videos with you guys, but I'm a little bit sad that this series is about to be over. Next up, we are going to be working on our boys' bedrooms and bathrooms, and we're definitely going to be filming all of that for you guys. And we'll also continue filming lots of behind the scenes over on our vlog channel, but that does remind me, we are planning to do a live Q&A over on our vlog channel. If you're interested in tuning into the live, go ahead and let me know in the comments what day of the week would typically work best for you. So I just picked up these really cute chalkboard labels from Amazon. They were very affordable, and I'm just adding my labels right onto there. That way they're very cohesive. They match the other labels perfectly. And then once I have them added onto the chalkboard labels, I am just going to hot glue them right onto the baskets. That way they're still removable, but they look really nice and clean.
All my thoughts are running round inside my head. Emotions keep coming, they're keeping me from thinking straight. Thought it would be different when I got my things in place. Stuck in this commotion, how come I ain't past this yet? I wanted me to be somebody else.
All right, you guys have to let me know what you think about how this makeover turned out. I love it so much. I love that we painted the shelves, so you have like that two-tone going on in there. I love all of the earthy wicker baskets, all that texture it adds in. And then of course we tied everything in with those clear containers by adding the labels. And then at the root of it all, you have all of this amazing added function. Everything looked really put together. together, easy to find, easy to organize, and we're also taking advantage of that floor space now as well as the vertical space in the door. I just love how this makeover turned out. You guys will have to let me know what your favorite part of this makeover is. I always love hearing that from you guys. And as always, let me know in the comments if there's anything that you would have done differently in this space. Definitely stay tuned for the final reveal. We are going to be sharing this with my sister. You guys can see how they feel about their new pantry. Thank you so much for hanging out with me today. If you are not already subscribed, I would love if you would hit that subscribe button down below and join the family, and I will see you guys right back here on Monday for the 5th and final episode. Bye guys.
You never like try to make this better, make this right, but we're the same, even though I changed.
Wow. The pasta looks like pretty. I love all these drinks. Did you repaint these?
Oh yeah, I actually forgot about it.
Oh my gosh,
Yeah.
Amanda, this is
Super nice.
amazing.
Rice is cool.
Yeah, the rice, that's genius.
So
I really like this, Amanda.
That is so
Because
nice.
we
Just
do-
go take it on
We
the
usually
table.
just bring that outside.
This
It's
is
also like you
shopping
can open it
even.
and be like, well, what can we have for dinner?
right.
And not be like,
Yeah, everything was like
it's a
covered.
mess, I don't want to really go
behind.
through it. Yeah, where's the golf theme? Wanted a golf theme.
Where are the golf balls? Maybe you just get help when you're taking
Something stay the same. Something stay the same. Something stay the same.
Hey guys, welcome back to our budget boho makeover series. Today we are working on our 5th and final makeover, which is going to be my sister's master bedroom. This is the room that she has been most excited about, and I feel like it's also been the room that I've been most excited about because we are doing like a full overhaul in this space. We are painting every wall, we are adding all new furniture. The only thing that's going to be remaining is their TV and their mattress, so everything else is getting a refresh. We are decorating and putting function into this room from top to bottom. So we do have a lot to get done. So let's go ahead and jump into it.
I wanna hear you say that you only want me.
When the lights are out and you stumble in the dark, you kept pushing on, but then you went too far. When your ship has sailed and all your dreams are lost.
Okay, so before we can do anything in the room, we have to take everything out because like I said, we are going to be painting the walls and then we'll start building furniture. So we're gonna start clearing this baby out.
Everything is wrong, you feel like it's your fault. Just remember, I will be there for you, baby. Remember, there's nothing out there to get you, don't forget it. When life throws lemons, just call on me to get you, don't forget to get you, don't forget.
So just like I've done throughout the entire rest of the series, I'm going to continue sharing several budget-friendly tips for whenever you are making over a space, whether you are doing a full makeover like we're doing here, or if you're just kind of refreshing a space or adding a little something to a certain area of your home. I'm going to share some tips that I've learned along the way that will help you stay more in budget. I also wanted to let you know there is going to be a giveaway in this video, just like there's been throughout the rest of the series. But if this is one of the first videos of the series you're watching, I am going to have a $200 giveaway going on that I'll share a little bit more about in just a minute. minute. But to start out, we are just taking everything out of the room, all of the furniture, all of the things, and we are going to start with a totally clean slate. And we're doing that because one, we really aren't keeping a lot from this space just because it was a pretty blank slate for us to start out anyway. And then we also are going to be painting every single wall, and so that will make it a lot easier not having all of the furniture kind of in our way when we're trying to paint.
Just call on me.
We have everything completely taken out of here. Kyle is going to repair a few of like the screw holes in the wall, and then he's going to take out their blinds and all of like the outlet covers and everything, and then we're going to start painting. Our plan is to paint all of the walls in here pale oak, which is actually the same color that we have in our home. My sister really likes the colors that we chose for our house, so we're using the same colors, but just in different ways. So they just have like a basic white on all of their walls in the house, and she said they've wanted to paint, but they just haven't really gotten around to it. And so we are going to be painting in this room pale oak, except this background wall, which is where their bed goes. We are going to paint that evergreen fog, which is like a sage green kind of. Anyway, it's so pretty. We also have that color in our house, but it's going to add a lot of depth. It's going to put the focus back onto the bed area, and also it's going to still be a light color because they only have this one window, which actually does provide a lot of light, but I just want to make sure that we don't make this space dark. So that's kind of the plan. Kyle's gonna get going on all that stuff, and while he's starting on that, I'm just gonna start like cutting in like against the ceiling and the floorboards and everything. This is the Patch and Paint spackling tool. Kyle uses this all the time, and it's just super convenient because it already has that flat tip on the end. I will have this link down below along with anything else that we use in today's video. So I've said this before, but painting is the most budget-friendly way to get the absolute biggest impact in basically any room. You can paint walls, accent walls, cabinets, furniture, decor pieces. Just by adding a coat of paint on something, you can completely change the way it looks and the different styles of it. It's just such an impactful thing. So whenever you're looking at a space, especially if you're on a lower budget, definitely do not overlook painting. It will completely transform your space. And you guys will see that today as we go throughout today's video. Imagine this room without painting it. It would be a completely different space. I almost forgot to change my shirt, so I'm gonna go swap my shirt to my pink shirt and then we'll come back. Now, before we get too far into the video, I did want to talk about the series giveaway. We are going to be giving back to one of you guys $200 cash. And as usual, we want to keep this very, very simple to enter. So all you have to do is make sure you are subscribed to our channel, and then go ahead and leave a comment on this video and the other 4 videos in the series. I will have them linked all down below. That way it'll make it really easy for you. Also, I will have all the information written out in the description box, so definitely check that out, and good luck. So we have been working for a couple of hours already, and we have the outline of the room painted. The good thing is cutting in takes the most time. Rolling it isn't gonna take as much time. So that's where I'm at right now. I'm about to roll the 3 main walls and then we'll start cutting in and rolling the accent wall. But we're making progress.
So I keep on rolling in silence. Is this really healthy? Maybe I need therapy, yeah. Red carpet for you. Let me hold your bag. I'll carry your shoes. I think I've lost it. What do I? Every time you call my name, what do I? You're whipping me into madness.
So we knew that their walls were like a flat white, but we didn't realize until earlier today when we were like walking around that they are just like the walls that we had in our Georgia house. That was like a new construction home and they just used like the cheapest, like almost like chalk textured paint. Like once you get scuffs and stuff on it, like you can't even wipe it off or you'll start wiping away the paint. Like it's so terrible. And the thing about it is soaking up the paint. So I used like probably 1/4 gallon and I was barely able to cover just that one section. So we're definitely gonna need, I think, another gallon. We're gonna go ahead actually and grab lunch because it's about lunchtime. We will also pick up some paint and then we'll come back and get back to work. All right, we got the paint, so now I can definitely tell we are going to need another coat. So we did get Benjamin Moore Regal Select. We just get it from Ace Hardware. This paint is like super thick and it just goes on really nice and smooth. So I'm gonna go ahead, re-roll this wall, or I'll probably start like rolling these walls and hopefully that's all we gotta do. And then we can move on to the green.
Never up, never down, never. Like a theme in a song, clever. Feeling high, feeling low at the same time. Feels so right, then I'm wrong, hoping I'll be fine. But I get up, I always do. I never think, I always do. Never thought I wouldn't jump, oh what a fool. But if I fall,
As you can see, the pale oak color added so much warmth to the walls, and it also really makes that white trim pop because before it definitely just faded in and it didn't really give you that wow factor. As you can see, this is totally changing the vibe of the room, and this is all being done before we're even adding the furniture, adding the texture, adding decorative touches. Seriously, paint is like my best friend whenever we do makeovers. It just makes such a huge difference. Let me know in the comments if this was your room, would you choose a subtle color like pale oak or would you choose something a little bit more bold? If you are someone who doesn't love like the peaceful, calm, relaxing rooms and you want something a little bit more bold, you should definitely go check out episode 2. That room, we went way more bold. It's still very peaceful, but done in like a more intense way. Let me know in the comments once you're done watching this video, which of the 2 rooms ended up being your favorite style.
I will get up again. Stronger than I ever been. I will get up again.
Okay, here is a good shot of the new paint color. You can see how it like compares to the white wall. This one's not gonna be white for long, that's next. But Kyle is building the dresser. It is an IKEA dresser, but we're gonna kind of change it up and you'll see like how we kind of easily customize it and really make the look a bit different. And he's also been really busy out here. He has the desk for my sister built. He also has the side tables built. And we do have a few other furniture pieces to build, but we're gonna build them in the room once we're all done painting.
I will get up again. Stronger than I ever been. I can see everything clearer. Trying to fly 'cause I'm light as a feather. But I get high, I get low at the same time. Feels so right, then
I love the look of the warm tan walls surrounding the entire room, and I feel like it almost leads your eye to the warmth of the sage green color that we picked for the back wall. This one, like I said, is evergreen fog, and this is actually the same color that we have in our house here in Arizona as well. And we just love this color. I feel like it's so warm and it's also super neutral. One thing that I did want to mention that I've also shared in the past, but if this is one of the first videos that you're seeing, you might not have heard me chat about this. But if you are interested in adding color into your home, but you tend to lean more neutral and you're feeling a little bit overwhelmed about not making things be so bright and in your face, go ahead and pick the color that you are really drawn to, whether that's green or blue or whatever, and then just go ahead and find a neutral tone of that color. This is the perfect example of that. Obviously, if we picked like a bright green wall, this would not be very peaceful and relaxing. It would be a lot more intense, but instead we chose a really toned down neutral green, and that really helps keep that neutral feel throughout your home while you're still adding color in and not making it be so gray or tan.
Faces filled with sadness when words are said.
I went ahead and changed out of my paint clothes just a little bit ago because we are done painting. I love, love, love how it's turning out in here. It's still really bright, but you do have this one wall that kind of pulls your interest. Kyle also has the dresser all built, and we are down to the part of adding on the knobs. And I wanted to show you guys this because we did get our dresser from IKEA. We get a lot of our dressers from IKEA, I feel, because they are really good quality. They're also very affordable, and they also are like very simple, which can be a bad thing, but it can also be a really good thing because instead of buying a dresser that is like really particular to a certain style, whenever you change your style or you move it to a new space, you're really stuck in that style. This way it's like a blank slate and you can really customize it how you want. You can paint it, you can add different things on the outside. There's tons of YouTube videos to show that. But the thing that I'm actually going to do is just change up the knobs. So it really is gonna cost like barely anything. It's also not like really in depth on what we're doing, but I'm also going to be changing up the knobs on the side tables, and it's going to make a more cohesive look, and it's also going to make the dresser look a lot more custom and a lot more high-end than just using the regular knobs that it comes with.
I can see the fire that we made just to save us when we try to make up for never letting go. Said the things we promised not to say, then we break up just to start all over, even though we know this is the hard way to better. We can't be heartache together. This is the hard way to better. We can't be heartache together. This is the hard way to better. We can't be heartache together. This is the hard way to better.
Next up, I'm going to be doing something a bit different, but give it a chance. I'm going to be putting a rug on the carpet. I know this is typically not what you see. Usually you just see rugs going over hardwood floors, but if it's done correctly, adding a rug to carpet can actually add so much texture and interest. It also grounds the room, and it just makes the whole space even more beautiful. So this is an 8x10 rug, and they have a king bed. I just wanted to share that so you can kind of get the sizing reference. But I love that this rug draws your eye over to the bed area even more. And my personal opinion, if you are going to be adding a rug to carpet, make sure to have a lot of texture. I feel like that is really what makes the space. And I would love to hear, let me know in the comments, would you ever add a rug over carpet, or is that like way too weird to you? For my sister's room, I ended up going with an upholstered headboard with clean lines, and I really loved this one as soon as I saw it. Whenever we were starting out with this makeover process, I actually asked her what her ideal style was for her home, and she was honestly pretty open to different ideas, but I had her go onto Pinterest, send me a few pictures of things that she liked, and then had her tell me what exactly she liked about each room. And one of the things we realized is she is not a fan of upholstered headboards. However, I found this one, and this is not like any other upholstered headboard I've seen, and it was also on a really good deal over on Amazon, so I ended up sending her a picture of this one to see what she thought of it, and she loved it so much as well. I think she typically doesn't like the upholstered look because of the grommets, but as you can see, this one didn't have any of that, and I love that it had like a linen look, so it added a bit of texture to the room, and the color was also just beautiful. So even if you really don't like something, definitely don't just toss it out, because a lot of times you can find different styles of something and it can end up being a piece that you absolutely love. Alright guys, it is a new day. We did get a lot done in here, like I would say probably 80% done. Even though it's still like somewhat of a blank space, we still have a lot to add in, but a lot of like the time consuming heavy work is done. Most of the furniture is built. Obviously the walls are done. I love this color. Like you can see it pop against the white now. That color is so dreamy. The evergreen fog, one of our favorites for sure. I'm just loving how it's turning out so far. So the first thing that we're gonna do is go ahead and get the blinds back up on the window, and then we are going to be adding curtains into their bedroom. And of course we are doing our DIY curtain rod. We've shared this in so many videos. It works super well, and it's also really affordable, and we also found a way to do it even cheaper, so we're going to share that with you guys today. But I want to go ahead and get that rod cut and painted so that it can dry really well, and then we'll move back in here and get all the other stuff worked on.
You call me on my sins. You think that you're under my skin. I just wanna wake up.
So here we are starting to work on our DIY curtain rods. All we do is get a pipe. I found recently that if you go to Home Depot and get the EMT conduit pipes, we got 3/4 inch. That was significantly cheaper than if you were to get like steel pipes. So that's what I would definitely recommend. But all we're doing is cutting it down to size. We typically like to go 10 inches longer on each side of the window. And then once Kyle cut that down to size, he's just sanding it down and spray painting it a matte black. And then we're just gonna let that dry for a bit.
Wanna speak so loud even though I hide. Like I'm hypnotized, can't get out of here. You don't know me, I just need my time. Yeah. But they say I don't know where you come from.
I'm just kidding. That would be awesome though.
We are having a little bit of a hard time like getting the rug to lay down right here. So we're just gonna keep putting the tools on it, not actually stapling it into the ground. Oh my goodness, that would be funny though.
But they say I don't know where you come from. I don't. You seem too nice to be alone. So lonely. I see you going through some things and I just wanna help. I don't know how to make it clearer. I just wanna go.
So every time we do one of these makeovers, one of the first things I do is ask whoever's space we're making over if there's any function that is really missing from a room. And I also ask if there's any wants or desires in a space, just so that when I am creating a space, it really is going to be a reflection of them and a reflection of what they are wanting. In the end, this is not my space. This is going to be for my sister. So I definitely don't want it to be what I want. I want it to be what she desires. Anyway, all that to say, one of the things that she wanted was some seating in this room, and she really loved the look of bed benches. So I ended up adding in this beautiful wood and metal bed bench. I love the colors. I love the contrast of the different materials, and I just felt like it would look so beautiful with their fabric bed frame. And then I also wanted to bring in a desk because my sister is going to nursing school this fall, and she definitely needs a space to study.
Wanna be tucked in someone else's arms. 'Cause my heart just broke and I need my time. Wanna speak so
You're such a dork.
Yeah, I don't follow the rules.
Watch, I like cut the whole chair.
I know,
I'd be
like, oh, that would be
no.
so funny, and then it's like a huge rip in the chair.
Speak so loud, even though I hide. Like I'm hypnotized, can't get out of here. You don't know me, I just need my time.
Okay, now we have all of the furniture pieces built. We have the bed done, the side tables, the bed bench. We also have her writing desk and chair, and of course the dresser. Most of the function has been added, but now we are going to be adding the details. So we're going to be adding things like bedding. We're going to be putting the curtains up. I have this shelf right here that's going to add a little interest on this wall. And then we have things like plants. I also have these lamps. If you guys have been here for a long time, you probably recognize them. They are the same ones that we had in our Utah home, and for a long time in our home here in Arizona. We recently switched them out, but my sister really liked them and we already had them. But I did get new lampshades just to go with a different style that she has in here. And then I'm also going to be adding these mirrors. Adding mirrors above side tables is an amazing thing to do. It adds a lot of light because it's going to bounce that light around, and it also almost mimics like a window on each side of the bed. So we're gonna go ahead and do that shortly. Let's just start kind of tackling the projects.
So I found these really cool little markers on Amazon. And it's the first time we've used them, but on a mirror like this where it's really hard to see the mounting point when you stick it up on the wall, I thought these are pretty nifty. So you just stick it in like that, let it go, tighten it down. And then once it's tight, it's not going to move from there. You pull off this little cap, and then there's an ink X inside of there, which you can see. And once you get it up where you want it on the wall, you just push, and it sticks out and makes a little X on the wall.
It basically replaces toothpaste.
Yeah, it's a fancy way to do toothpaste. Yeah, that's a good way to put it.
Yep.
That's exactly what it is.
To hang these mirrors, we are using monkey hooks. And I have to admit, Kyle's new way of hanging things and marking the wall just worked so well. If you guys are OG subscribers, you know I love my little toothpaste hack where you dab a little bit of toothpaste on the back of your item, stick it to the wall, and it leaves a little glob of toothpaste, and it just works. It might not be the most clean way to do this, but it really works so well. Kyle, on the other hand, is not such a fan of this, so he has been trying over the years to find a new way to do this, and I think this one actually is good enough to probably replace our toothpaste hack. So I'm sure you guys will be seeing this one a little bit more often.
You on. Not looking for something steady, not ready for that. I'm the best thing that has ever happened to you.
Now that it's time to hang up the curtains, the only thing we have left to do, since we already worked on the pipe, is to go ahead and cut the leather straps. So I just get these 2-inch leather straps from Amazon, and then we cut them down to size depending on how low we want the curtain rod to hang. And then next you're going to want to take a wood screw, drill it right through both pieces so that you kind of create a loop, and then just measure and put them up right up against the ceiling. Anytime you add curtains to your home, I always recommend going floor to ceiling. It's going to make a huge difference. It's going to make your room feel so much taller. And then I also recommend making sure that the curtain rod extends past the actual window. And that's a little trick that makes your window appear larger than it is. And it ends up making your wall feel bigger and the room feel brighter as well. I just have to pause and say, oh my gosh, this is just turning out so stunning and peaceful in here. We still have just a little bit more to go. It's just beautiful. It's like a totally new space. It's not even the same bedroom. It's incredible.
I'm the best thing that has ever happened to you. Here's your time to shine. Now show me what you can do. Make a move.
Finally, it's time to add the bedding. So I'm just using this beautiful white textured duvet cover. I love using duvet covers. We have them in multiple beds in our home, and I feel like there's a lot of reasons to love them, but one of the reasons I love them is they're actually more budget friendly to change out instead of having to replace your entire comforter. So over the years, I've read in the comments from you guys that a lot of other countries, it's actually more common to have duvet covers than anything else. So I would love to hear, let me know in the comments if you do or don't use a duvet cover, and also what country you live in. Also, one more thing that I did want want to mention is if you do use a duvet cover, I do have a little tip for this for putting it on the insert, and that is to actually flip your duvet cover inside out and then lay your comforter insert over top. Then go ahead and tie or secure the corners, and then you just flip it all right side out, and it's so easy to do it this way. So if you have been struggling with the duvet cover, hopefully this will help.
I don't really need a new friend, so spend your time with me. Looking for someone who can play though, wanna hang with me. I'm not really looking for a friend, so spend your time with me. Looking for someone not afraid to give it all to me. Get next to me, get next to me. All that I want.
In this room specifically, we did use a lot of new furniture pieces just because like they didn't have a bed frame, they didn't have matching side tables or a dresser that worked really well. But a lot of times you are able to keep your existing furniture and just make little changes like we did in the living room by painting the couch legs, and you can totally tie things together. But this is even more easy to do with your decor. It's super easy to reuse the decor that you have and just move it into a different space. It gives it all new life, and you can also paint your existing decor or DIY your own decor. For example, this textured art piece, I actually made this on a canvas with spackle. It took me less than 5 minutes, and it adds a lot of texture and interest, and it cost me basically nothing.
Looking for someone not afraid to give it all to me. Get next to me, get next to me. All that I want is to get next to you, get next to you. Not asking for much, but it feels like the two of us are golden, are gorgeous. We'll do you good, so take a chance on me. It's magical when you are close, so get closer, babe. We'll do you good, 'cause I am golden, I'm golden. You're not really looking for a friend, so at the top for me. Never thought that loving would be easy, but it's all.
Oh my gosh, you guys, I cannot tell you how much I love this room. It is so beautiful. It's so peaceful and calming. I wish you guys could just be in the space and actually feel how it feels to be in here. It's so relaxing. I love all the warm colors we added in. I love the accent wall. I love the simplicity of everything. Those beautiful mirrors that we added above the nightstands really bounce light around, and it ends up brightening the space and acting like there's windows over there. I feel like that textured rug we added in really added so much more than I was even hoping to this space. And it just grounds the bed area and really brings your eye over there. The headboard is so simple yet so stunning. I love the added function of the bed bench, and I love that the wood from that is also tying in with the desk and shelf, and then also the drawer pulls, which are just another way that we were able to stretch our dollar by getting kind of a basic dresser and really styling that up with those beautiful, more custom looking drawer pulls. There are so many things in this room. I honestly don't even think I could pick my absolute favorite, but I just love how this one came together. You guys will have to let me know, now that you guys have hopefully watched all 5 episodes, which one ends up being your absolute favorite. As always, thank you so much for choosing to spend some time with me today. I hope you guys have the most incredible day, and I cannot wait to see you guys right back here next Monday for a brand new video. Bye guys.
We'll do you good, 'cause I am golden, I'm golden. Feels like the two of us are golden, are gorgeous. We'll do you good, so take a chance on me. It's magical when you are close, so get closer, babe. We'll do you good, 'cause I am golden.
Remember before, right? Yes. Holy cow. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh.
You like it?
This is like so crazy.
It doesn't even seem like the same.
It doesn't seem like the same.
It looks like a modeling bedroom. Oh my gosh.
Welcome home.
I love this.
Yeah.
Yeah?
This is
Look how we
amazing.
shake those a little bit up, or a little down, I mean.
Yeah.
Oh my
Does it look
gosh.
awesome? Yeah.
This is so nice.
I've been so excited for you guys to see
This like
this.
literally like looks like seriously a new home. Like this doesn't look like this room was
Look at
here.
this.
Crazy.
No, it does not feel the same at all.
Wow.
Do you like your bricks?
This is cool. It's a swivel.
Yeah.
Like it stays still on the bottom. but like, yes, I'm here.
I literally said that. I was like,
That's exactly what you did.
Oh my gosh, it's
So nice.
so nice.
It's magical when you are close, so get closer, babe. What do you got? 'Cause I am